Hello everyone and welcome to another Cities Skylines video, where I try to build an Eastern European Soviet-inspired city. To start things off, for a long time I wanted to make a government area, but I was a bit lazy and was focusing on other things in the city, until I saw by mistake on Instagram a photo with the State Museum of History in Uzbekistan, and I was absolutely amazed by the design of it, and I wondered if I could do that with procedural objects in-game. In the beginning it seemed like an absolutely insane and impossible project by the looks of it, but to be honest it wasn't really that hard. First step is of course to actually start doing it and then solve the challenges that appear on the road. My biggest challenge with this project was to actually work with so many little PO objects, and oftentimes I was extremely lost which one is which, but besides that, the other thing that was challenging was to make it actually accurate in terms of size. Unfortunately, the ruler that you see in the video is divided equally in units, or how to explain it, it's only in centimeters, but I want to have millimeters as well. I know there is the other ruler which is super long, it's like 120 units if I remember, and it's really annoying to work with, so if there are any creators out there I would be thankful if someone could modify this ruler and include some sub-units to it as well. Alright, so like I said, the hardest thing was to actually start doing this. After that I realized it's not that complicated and it's just more tedious, especially the part about keeping the distances equal. Now I didn't include in the video the entire process of this cause that might have made the video too long. I just skipped through different parts of the build, but if there is any of you out there watching the video and you have problems with procedural objects, let me know in the comments below, and depending on the interest I'll make a tutorial or something. Of course I'm no expert in this, but it's not really that complicated, so yeah, if you want me to explain to you, maybe even post a picture with an interesting shape or building or something and I can explain to you the process and how I approach things. The only limitation is to work with rounded shapes, as you can't really cut a sphere in half, for example, so you have to make your own objects in a 3D program like Blender or something, so you're a bit limited in that area. Alright, moving on, what you see me doing here is working with the Terraforming network tool so that I can have the main government building on top of that small hill, because I wanted it to be the main focal point in this area. The rulers are added there so I can have an equal distance on all sides from where the terrain will start the slope downwards. After that it was only a matter of flattening out the rest of the terrain, but to my surprise it didn't really work that well, and I had to add some more terraforming lines on the bottom of the hill to make sure everything stays flat, which of course turned into more problems later, cause I kept deleting them by mistake and that would mess up the entire terrain. So, once the terrain was flat, I added the stairs as procedural objects and then I made them functional so that people can actually walk on them. I left out that part of the video out because I'm pretty sure people already know how to do that, but in case you don't know, you just place a normal civilian path over the stairs and then you change it to an invisible path. You can find those assets on the workshop. Once that was done, I started doing a bit of detailing around the stairs, adding some curbs and then grass to hide that gap between the top part and the wall. When that was finished, I started working on the top part to add some nice decals where the people will walk and add some flowers as well to make the area look nice and clean. This area here was probably the most challenging thing of the entire project, because for one, the space to work with was really small, and second, I have no idea how water works in this game. This water pool in front of the wall took me a very long time to make, and I constantly ran into problems which I left out of the video cause it was too boring to watch, but yeah, in the end I got the result I was going after. To be absolutely honest with you, I have no idea how the water actually got in there, because from my thinking and understanding, it should actually be on top of the terrain, as the area is too small to add the water source there. But once I saw the miracle happening and water inside that area, I saved the game and didn't mess with it anymore. All that was left to do was detail the front and back part of the water pool, where I added the statue of the loved leader, which I won't mention his name because YouTube might get annoyed by that. And in the front side I added a beautiful statue which is located in real life in the city of Volgograd in Russia, or as it's known in history, the city of Stalingrad. And this statue is located in the Mamayev Kurgan area. After the entire project was done, I actually added the main statue of the Motherland Calls in front of the area. You will see that later in the video. After I finished the main government building area with all the details and flowers and all that, I was left out with quite a big empty area and I was wondering what else to do there. And I thought about actually adding more government buildings because it wouldn't make sense to have only one, and lucky me, there's quite a lot of interesting Soviet buildings in the workshop. So I went and added a nice tall building which I duplicated and clipped together so that I can fill the corner area, and in the back side between the main building and the tall one I went and added two more buildings which to me at that moment were fitting quite well. Now when I look back, I think I could have done the area better, and what I mean by this is that the rest of the buildings should be smaller in height compared to the main building on the hill. In simpler terms, what I mean is all the focus needs to be on the main building on top of the hill, and the other buildings in the area should be smaller in height to not steal the show, so to speak. But it's not that big of a deal and the area looks quite pretty to me anyway. Of course, I added some parking areas around and the rest of the empty gaps I filled with some nice parks. I will leave you now with the rest of the time-lapse of the video, but any feedback you guys have for me, please tell me in the comments below, and if you liked the video, drop a like. If you didn't like it, drop a dislike. I will see you in the next video. Take care everyone and have a nice week.